Never got to it. All right,
Yeah.
time to go.
Time to
UNC Duke.
Yep.
With this is the summary of what I saw with 0.3 seconds left, or well, 0.3 with up 3 with about 4 or 5 seconds left. Carolina fouled on purpose.
Idiots.
Duke at half court, and then my son and I walked back to our seats. And by the time we got back to our seats, there was still time left on the clock. And I was like,
Stupid.
"How did that
It
happen?"
was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So, Zach, you want to give us a quick synopsis of kind of what happened near the end of the game?
It was about 7 seconds left.
Tell us about how Duke cheated.
We were up 3. Yes, they missed that call blatantly. I will say 2 things about that missed call.
Mm-hmm.
He was mugged.
But
it was-
Talk about the end of the game.
Yes, he was just completely run over. But we can't say because they made that foul call we lost. It was play tech. He couldn't hit a free throw. He had been on the line multiple times in that last. We were up 13 with about 3 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
Is this not the sorriest lineup you've seen Carolina have in a long time?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
Playtech is a starter and is averaging 3 points per game?
And we talked about, they're a C grade team.
I give them a D.
What they have, or C players. So they were
A
up.
D with
they
an
were up
outlier
13.
at point guard.
They were up 13, 3 minutes to go. I looked at my wife. I said, "We're going to lose." She said, "There's no way." I said, "Mandy, they're going to start fouling. We can't hit a free throw." And we missed
Cannot hit a free throw.
17 free throws in that game. Duke missed 8. So if we just hit our free throws, we win the game easily.
Mhm.
Now with 7 seconds, I believe it was like 7.3. We there was a timeout. I think we were on the foul line before that. We hit 1 of 2, and when that happened, I just hung my head. So they said we're up 3. They said there was something happened earlier in the year where Roy did not foul, and it cost them a game. They said Roy's going to tell them to foul.
And I thought that was the dumbest move he could have pulled. You put Duke at the free throw line for free, only down 5.
Well, it's just who they put on the free throw line.
Well, even then, you think Coach K's not smart enough to tell him, look, miss the second one?
Well, let's think about this. Okay, so 7 seconds left. They inbound the ball. They get it as soon as they cross half court. It might have been right before or right after they crossed half court. It was, I want to say 4.3 seconds left, and they fouled Trey Young. And I was sitting there. My wife was watching the game with me. She loves to watch Tar Heels basketball with me. And I said, she said, he's going to hit both these free throws. I said, no, he's not. He's going to hit the first. He's going to
Purposely miss the second one.
And I said, we have to get this rebound.
Yeah.
And he was dead on free throws that night. I mean, he was just nailing. Trey Young played above his head. So he hits the first, and it took almost perfection to do what happened. It went off the front of the he threw it off the front of the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it bounced back a little bit behind him at the 3-point line. He gets the ball, goes a little bit in front of the 3-point line, and he has to have a perfect shot with 2 people on him, and it was nothing but net. And there was like 0.2 seconds left, and you're just sitting here scratching your head. It took gambling odds perfection to do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in overtime. They get up, I think 5, and we come back and are up 3, and we get in the same position again at the end of the game. And he shoots again, and he misses horribly. And our player, I can't tell you who it was, he was watching the ball. And like Kevin said the other day, that was the NC State Houston game from the 83 championship where
the exact
guy just comes out of the air, he catches it, and he lays it in with no time left. And you're like, why didn't you box out? If you boxed out, that's it, you know? So it would have been double overtime. I still don't think we could have won in double overtime. We had to get them after leading the whole game in regulation.
I mean, it was. Like for all that to happen, Zach, and just the odds of it is just insane to me.
Me and you were texting back and forth, and you're like, seriously? And I'm like, I've never seen anything like this.
I hate the fouling there at the end.
I do too.
I hate the fouling
Don't
there
foul
at the
him,
end.
like fouling while up.
Yeah, don't. And
I
at
would've
least
said
don't purposely foul them.
All I would have told them, this is just me, I would have said, if they shoot a 3, don't touch them.
Yeah, don't touch them. Don't touch them. And the reason why I don't like it is because you stopped the clock and gave them free points, because there's rarely a Duke team that can't shoot free throws. There are rarely Duke teams that can't shoot free throws. For God's sakes, he always used to recruit shooters, so they can always shoot free throws. And here's what's so crazy, too. You stopped The clock. That's the biggest problem I have with it. So what if they come down here and try and shoot a three? You've been playing decent enough defense all game to at least make them have to work and waste more time off of that clock.
And we had perfect opportunity. Their best player, Vernon Carey Jr.,
Had fouled out.
He had fouled out.
He'd fouled out.
But Trey Jones, and I will say this, he has been in this position before, and you could tell he was older than them. He was composed. He kept his composure. You can say and I'm a Carolina fan, you can say that it was a mugging on that one. And I said we were robbed.
Right.
But we wasn't robbed by missing all them free throws that we can't hit. And I've said this before, and I talked with you and Andre the other day in the office. How good of a player would they be if you're a 5-star or a 4-star coming out and you're a 90% free throw shooter? How much better does that make you?
A lot.
Why are we not teaching free throws from a young age and making that just important as dribbling the basketball?
Zach, you're 100% right on the free throws. The just year after year after year, I myself struggled as a free throw shooter coming up, and it took a lot of practice to get it right. But once I got it right, I mean, I got to 88-90% of hitting all my free throws. To me, I don't think you can shoot the same form you do on your regular shots. Your regular shots, you're stepping into it, you're jumping, you got defenders. Free throw, to me, is the least motion as possible. So Shaq sits there and palms it. What you don't want to do, you want the least amount of elbow action. The more elbow action you have, the more muscle action you have. And it puts more power on it. That's why LeBron can't shoot free throws. Watch him. His elbow way back here. The further you have to, if you could keep your arm, people that watch online, if you keep your arm straight out here and just flick your wrist, go to a video arcade, and then you got the hot shot, the papa shots. Just shoot there, and you'll feel how you're supposed to shoot a free throw because all you gotta do is just flip it. It's just a flip. It's just all it is a flip, and these guys don't practice it, and I don't know why the coaches don't put as much emphasis on working on that as they do. We practiced in high school. We had drills, but it was definitely an afterthought. We did way more defensive drills. That's all we did in basketball. Defensive drills. And as a basketball player, you would think, well, if we practice shooting more and doing more free throws, like we could hit more threes and more free throws.
Let's look at that.
We would do one shooting. Exactly. At Cherville, we would do one 3-point shooting drill a day, just one, and it was just 15 minutes of just, I don't know, just basic free. There was nothing to it. We weren't designing. It was just if you're open, shoot a three type thing. I know the offenses are different now, but to me, you're 100% right on the free throw. I don't understand how the free throws why they're so bad.
If I told you, I'm gonna get you by practicing 10 extra points a game. Who would not jump all over 10 extra points a game?
Right.
Instead of trying to defense, stop 10 points a game. So if you're good on defense and you're stopped 10 points a game and you can shoot free throws, you get 10 more points a game. That's a 20-point swing. It makes no sense to me that you wouldn't want to be that much better of a prospect coming out. Think about Gary Payton. Mm-hmm. If you put him on the line, was he 90? Mark Price.
How many free throws? How many free throws did Carolina miss this weekend?
17.
And how many overtime? They went to overtime. All I'm gonna do is make
17, and they weren't even close. These were good free throw shots. These were it was dinking off and going into the coach's box.
Right.
So that's my take on it. We lost because we couldn't shoot free throws, and then we turned around and lay a goose egg last night against Wake Forest. We get wore out by Wake Forest.
So Oklahoma State got beat by 8 by the number 1 Baylor. They missed 12 free throws. No, 13. 5 free throws. Lost by 8. God dang, they missed 12 3-pointers. That's one thing they won't adjust with. They just keep firing them threes, won't they?
I hate it. I hate watching basketball. I hate watching basketball. And you know why? Because that is exactly what it is. It's jack of 3. It's jack of 3 every possession. There's no set half-court offense, and if there is, it's just put a big man down low and all 4 other players on the perimeter. Well, you never win the rebound game because of that. I hate it.
I was even watching a little bit of the Philadelphia game the other night, and Joel Embiid is jacking up threes.
Yeah. Did you see the Portland goaltend?
No.
Controversy. Well, Damian Lillard was goaltended, and they missed the call, and he lost his mind, and McCullum and everybody, and they blamed the
I heard
referees.
about it.
But Zach, they blamed the refs. They missed 53 shots. Got out rebounded by 15. And I think they missed about. I'm gonna pull it up here in just a sec because I had it up. Because I tweeted about it myself at Kevin Hakes if you want to follow me there. And they blamed the referees on a goaltending call. They gave up 117 points, Zach. That's what it was. They gave up 117, missed 53 shots, and got out rebounded by 15. But it's the referee shot they lost on the final shot.
Yeah, it always goes back to that one. That's why I didn't blame the referees for the Tar Heels loss. We can't shoot a free throw.
Missed 17 free throws.
Hit your 3-pointers and you win. The
I didn't
ball
even
game.
blame the referee for that. I blamed Roy Williams. I blamed Roy Williams for how he handled the end of that game.
Mhm.
Not only just overtime, but regulation.
You can still, you can put some of that on Roy because you're still in that position. But
And
I
not
mean,
just
free
that, but
throws.
even though this whole season is on Roy. You can't just come out and say, well, this team, we just don't have, this might be the most untalented team we have. Well, isn't it your job as the coach at the college level to make them better? I mean, they're not all coming out of high school going to be professionals.
If the coach,
You don't have 5 Cole Anthony level players on your team. Like, come on now. That's why I put the Duke game on Roy. Because the whole season needs to be on Roy.
If the coach at Appalachian State says, well, we just ain't got good enough players, does he get fired? If he comes in last in his division and says we don't have good enough players, does that coach get fired?
I mean,
yes.
listen.
If your name's other than Roy Williams or Mike Krzyzewski and you say those words and you come in last.
Any school does not want to hear, especially because they're like, well, that makes your students, your athletes look bad. They
You're
don't
the one
want your
recruiting
coach.
them.
Now
It ain't
it's
Mac Brown's fault.
Now look, it's different in the NFL. Okay, it's
They're
different.
last in the ACC.
In the NFL, you can come out and say that because those are grown men. But these are like just student athletes, and you come out and say, we just don't have it. We're just not talented. Whoa, well, okay. You were the one who saw those 4 stars and 5 stars and thought they were really going to pan out, didn't you? That's what's so funny. And that speaks to coaching as well because think about it. And I'm going to like tie this in with football. The LSU wide receivers that everybody was going so crazy over this year, the best wide receiver they had came in as a 2-star.
Mm.
And they said he's a first-round draft pick, if not a second-round draft pick. And he ended up being the best receiver they have as a 2-star. Well, that's you know how that happens. 1, it's dedication for him to work on his craft, but 2, it's coaching.
Mm.
The coaches have really helped him. North Carolina and everybody says, oh, well, let's bring in these 5 stars and some 4 stars, and sometimes they just don't pan out. Well, you should have just coached them up and made them a little bit better and not just expect them to be the same that they were in high school. It's just a joke. And I'm telling you, the fact that Playtech is starting at the shooting guard makes me want to pull my hair out. Makes me want to pull my hair out.
We're 10-14. That is the bottom of the ACC.
Well, 3-10.
3-10.
Is
I was
official.
looking at the overall.
Yeah.
Overall, but that's still
Overall.
bottom, regardless of which way you.
They had the worst overall.
worst overall
Yeah,
record.
I mean, it's
in the
worse than
ACC.
both. And like I said, this is a horrible year.
And it's what's so crazy, though, but it speaks to that rivalry. As bad as we are, it still took overtime for Duke to beat us. As bad as we are, we still didn't lose to NC State at NC State. So,
We lost to Clemson this year, the 40-year.
Mm.
oh, and we lost to Wake Forest, who literally is one above us because they beat us.
They stomped them.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't even a loss.
It
That
was
a
what? It
stomping.
was like 40-25 at halftime. It was embarrassing. I don't even try and look and see if they're going to be on television anymore. Because why do I want to sit down and get mad watching a basketball game? I just don't. That's how I feel every time I go and watch the Hornets. I'm like, you could be so much better, but you're just garbage.
Yeah, and you guys go watch the Hornets game, and Luka and Porzingis, neither one playing.
Neither one of them plays, and they're down 31 at one point. Lose by 16.
Well, I mean, it was 16-2, 31-10 at the end of the first quarter.
It was bad. Oh, it was bad. Bad.
So we're all in agreement. Roy should be fired.
I'm gonna give him another year. I'm gonna give him another year because Playtech's I don't believe is coming back next year. They won't be able to be so lenient on Cole Anthony next year because he'll be gone. Because when I think they do with him, I've said it before, I think him playing not on a minutes restriction is a bad thing because they use him as a crutch. And the other players don't learn to really play and establish themselves as scorers. They're like, oh, well, if we need a quick 5-run or 6-run scoring drive, we're just going to give the ball to Cole Anthony and let him work.
They're going to have a completely different team next year. Right?
Yeah. And they have, and I know it just was rattling off about 4-star, 5-stars, but they do have 4 McDonald's All-Americans coming in next year. 4. They got one of the better recruiting classes that they've had in the past few years, so that's why I'm going to give him one more year.
So
I'm going to see how he works with the freshmen because I don't know if all of them are going to stay or if they're all going to be one-and-dones. But I'm going to give him a year.
In the last 2 years, a coach has missed the Final Four with 3 top 10 picks, and a coach has said, I don't have any good players and came in last, and I am silly/stupid for asking for one or both to be fired. I'm just wondering.
I don't think you're stupid. I've called for Roy Williams' job in the past few years.
Fired Coach K.
And what's so funny is, if I'm not mistaken, I think the year before they went to the national championship to play against Villanova, I was like, fire Roy. And then they went there and lost to Villanova. And I was like, okay, well, we're pretty decent. Then we went and won it the next year. I was like, okay, we're fine. I'm back on the fire Roy train. Not yet, though. Not yet. I have got to see, because maybe he's right. Maybe these guys just didn't pan out and aren't talented. I'm not going to take away that he hasn't, but he shouldn't coach them. But talent does make a big difference on the floor. But I'll also say this as well about Duke. I don't think Duke is a Final Four or Elite 8 team. I could see them going out in the Sweet 16, depending on who they draw. You're going to play North Carolina like that? And have to go to overtime?
Carolina's system is set up.
Did Carolina play up or did Duke play down to their competition?
It's a rivalry. It goes back to your rivalry.
It's not a rivalry. We lead by 25, almost 25 games. And see, that's what's funny. They only want to go back to the past 100 meetings.
Well, we got, you talk about the recruiting class coming in. We got point guard, combo guard, shooting guard, and then 2 centers. The 2 centers are 5 stars, and if you put them with Baycott, which is not going to go pro, I just highly doubt he will.
If he does,
you're going to have
idiot.
A very solid.
Well, if Baycott learns how to be aggressive and attack the boards, he'll be another year older. I'll give him that. But I agree.
You got Caleb Love coming in. He'll replace.
Anthony.
You got the combo guard, which is a 4-star, and then they've offered Zaire Williams, which has not committed yet. So
that'd be nice.
We could have all 5 of those guys could start coming in.
Here's the problem about Zaire Williams. Here's the problem. If Coach K talks to him, Dwayne's going to be in his ear. Say, look, I played for Coach K on Team USA. Look, that's what LeBron said. LeBron said he would love for Bronny to play with Coach K just because he played with him at Team USA. That's what's going to help a lot of these ex-NBA players, their sons. That's what's going to help Coach K, really. He's going to say, hey, I played for him. He's a pretty decent coach, man. If you got to go at least for a year, I want you to play under him.